Okay, so we've all seen the headlines,
Correct.
right, about online learning.
Yeah.
All the Zoom fatigue and kids missing out on, all the social interaction and stuff.
Right.
But you know what? If maybe there's a little bit more to the story.
Okay.
And so today we're going to kind of do a deep dive into some of the potential benefits of online learning,
Yeah.
especially for certain types of learners, and really kind of explore whether or not this might be a good fit for, you or someone, a child maybe.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to emphasize right from the start that this isn't about saying online learning is a replacement for all learning.
Right.
This is about looking at online learning as a tool
Yep.
in the toolbox.
Yeah, another tool in the toolbox,
Yeah.
exactly. And the research we're looking at today, really digs into that idea.
Right.
It doesn't, shy away from some of the challenges, but really focuses on how online learning can actually be a huge advantage for students who maybe wouldn't thrive in a conventional classroom.
Yeah. And one of the areas where this really shines, I think, is for students who struggle with anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being in a traditional classroom setting and, feeling the pressure to keep up with everyone else and answer questions on the spot, and maybe feeling embarrassed even to ask for help.
Yeah.
Online learning really flips that script.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, this research actually cites studies showing that students with anxiety often perform better in online environments,
Yeah.
which makes sense when you think about it. They can learn at their own pace.
Mm-hmm.
They can rewind, that lecture that maybe was a little tricky for them.
Right.
And they can just take breaks when they need to.
Very actually.
No more performance anxiety in front of a whole class.
And what's even more interesting, I think, is that this self-paced approach isn't just about, avoiding those negatives.
Yeah.
It can actually unlock a student's potential.
Right.
The research highlights cases where students who were completely silent in a traditional classroom, suddenly blossomed in online discussions.
That's amazing.
And I think it's that digital buffer, that ability to kind of think things through before you contribute.
Right.
Makes all the difference.
It does. It makes you think about all those webinars and online courses that adults take.
Right?
I know I feel a lot more comfortable typing a question in a chat than raising my hand in a room full of strangers.
Precisely. And it's that same dynamic, that can be a game changer for kids.
Yeah.
And it's not just anxiety we're talking about,
Yeah.
Think about students who have sensory overload
Oh, yeah.
in really busy classrooms.
Yeah.
Being online allows them to control their environment,
Right.
minimize distractions,
Yeah.
really focus on the learning.
So, okay, so we're seeing that online learning can be a really powerful tool for certain students. But what about the learning itself?
Mm-hmm.
Does it actually hold up,
That's where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
Because this research dives into concepts like competency-based learning, which sounds complicated, but it's actually very straightforward.
Okay.
So instead of moving on to the next topic just because the schedule says so,
Right.
students in this model only progress when they've actually mastered the concept.
So it's not just about checking boxes. It's about genuine understanding.
Exactly. And online platforms are perfect for this,
Yeah.
They can offer personalized quizzes, interactive exercises, instant feedback.
Yeah.
So students always know exactly where they stand.
Wow.
What they need to work on.
It's almost like having a personal tutor built into the system.
Right. And the research also touches on, how online learning can help kids develop really crucial skills like self-advocacy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
When you're learning online, you quickly learn how to articulate your needs, how to seek help when you're stuck, and figure out, where to find the resources you need.
Right.
And these are skills that will serve anyone well,
Yeah.
regardless of what path they choose in life.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great takeaway for our listeners, thinking about online learning. But, I am curious, does this research talk about the social aspect at all?
Oh, it absolutely does.
Okay.
And while it highlights, the benefits of online learning, it's very clear that it shouldn't be the only thing in
Right.
a student's life,
Yeah.
It really emphasizes the importance of balance,
Okay.
Encourage community activities, sports arts, time outdoors,
Yeah.
all those things that help kids grow and connect with others.
So it's not an all or nothing proposition.
Right.
It's about finding the right blend.
Exactly. Online learning has amazing potential, especially for certain learners, but it's about finding the right mix for each individual.
That's right. It really makes you think about the future, though.
Yeah.
As work and education continue to evolve, How will online learning play into the lives of adults?
Mm-hmm.
What new challenges and opportunities will it create for lifelong learners?
Right.
That's something to think about.
It is.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into online learning.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's been fascinating.
It has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see everybody next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.